Computer crash. The odds may they be ever in your favor. Brutal. Sadly, we crashed. You know it was a good stream when it crashes, hey? A really good stream. Oh, Brian, I'm really sorry about that. The stream crashed. You know it was a good stream when, hey? Uh, we had a crash. Mandatory crash. The stream was so good and like we were on to we were on to something there. That's what happened. We're having too much fun, you know. Uh, had to take it away. I'm really sorry. Yeah, no. Let's pick up right where we left off. I was like, well, do I pack it in? Everybody's going home. Brody crashed. The stream crashed, but maybe that's a good thing. May the odds be ever in your favor when you are streaming. Let's hit back on the modern list if you guys don't mind. We'll just pick it up right where we left off. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Let's get the chat back up for everybody who was joining us. Man, we're gonna be on for. Let's finish up this list. I really do. Was enjoying that. Going down the modern list here. Never do that, and that's a first. You know, we usually do the legacy list, and we usually do the old school and the all list. Doing this for a couple of weeks now, and taking any special requests. It's really too bad. My apologies for the internet going silly. Actually, I think it's the new device. It told me it's gonna just give us a good old fashioned restart. All right, let's kick it. Where were we at? See, the list has changed. We got a little bit here this morning. Just to come out. All right, we beat them. We beat them this morning. The earlier strike. Okay, so this is why we're up hella early. The news, the talk of the town. This is what we want to see. There's some new writings. It's Friday. It's November 25th. It's 2022. Let's let a few folks get back into the chat here, and then we're gonna pick up this article by Arjun. Arjun, let's a little bit about him. He is the founder of that have done so specifically because of Legacy and several because of Commander. This week had to bundle a few cards together since they went up for the exact same reasons. So while they've still chosen 3 cards to focus on, there's a couple other spikes as well. It's been an interesting week. Dungeoneer, Seasoned Dungeoneer, Crypto Brawl, Crypto Brawl, Seasoned Dungeoneer, no, Crypto Thrall, and Mental Note. Let's check it out. Let's take a look here. Okay, so the first see some stuff moving. 2 cards done at the same time because both Seasoned Dungeoneer and the White Plume Adventurer have shot up in the last week. Both these rares are from the Commander Legends Battle from Baldur's Gate set, and they've been making waves on Mitgo in Legacy. Both these cards will let you take the initiative when they enter the battlefield. So when I first saw this card showing up in decks, my first course of action was to lawn art, but also not quite the same. So let's read the Seasoned Dungeoneer and find out what we're talking about with this initiative. It's on the movers and shakers list. This card, and let's check it out. When Seasoned Dungeoneer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Whenever you attack, target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard gains protection from creatures until end of turn. It explores. So you gonna explore? And this card, the White Plume Adventurer. When White Plume Adventurer enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control If you've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control instead. So this makes having completed dungeons a lot better. When a player takes the initiative, they will retain the initiative until another player's creature deals combat damage to them. Ah, so it's sort of like the Monarch, at which point the creature controller takes the initiative. Whenever a player takes the initiative or at the beginning of your upkeep, where you have the initiative, that player ventures into Undercity. There are some nuances where the other dungeons, but those are not really relevant now. Okay, so the Undercity. The thing with the Undercity is that it immediately lets you search up basic lands, and the next turn lets you buff a creature. So the dungeon, if that creature is your White Plume Adventurer, you now have a 5/5 with Pseudo Vigilance because its second ability lets you untap it in each opponent's upkeep. Yeah? Now you have both a strong blocker and a clock going. When you would buff your Seasoned Dungeoneer, you have a 5/6 that can give itself protection from creatures, and then it explores. This is another significant threat and clock that needs to be dealt with as soon as possible, assuming you have chosen Secret Entrance and then Forge in the Undercity. Your next turn could be a trap. Then you get to drain your opponent for 5 life. These two cards are played in a shell with Soul Lands, Chalice of the Void, and Thalia Garden of Thraben to slow your opponents down. Get your threats into play and finish them before they can deal with anything. If you want to see such a deck in action, I would recommend watching this video over at Thraben U. So there's a link to a video with some game play testing of this card that seems to be going up. This is something to remember that we already know Legacy does not drive prices and the format is dead. Okay, here's a deck list. Stoneblade, that's going to be including this White Plume Adventurer and the Seasoned Dungeoneer. So if you're dungeoning, these two cards are moving. And this one, Crypto Thrall, up 363%. The rare from Warhammer 40k is found in Necron Dynasty's commander deck. Is popular as a 4 mana 3/3, gives other artifact creatures hexproof. This creature will make sure that other creatures are a bit more safe. Bound to a cryptic, the Crypto Thrall exists for more than one reason: to defend its master to the death. So a 3/3 artifact creature construct. It's quickly found its way into other decks from Warhammer 40k and the Necron dynasties, like Imhotep, the Stormlord, Sazerath, the Silent King, and Illuminar Caesareth. I suspect that many cards for the Warhammer 40k decks are hard to reprint since they're often strictly bound to the Warhammer K universe. Crypto Thrall here is an exception. These cards could become scarce pretty quickly, and while discussing multiple cards at the same time, we take a look at Arkham Dagson. We already talked about Arkham Dagson a little bit earlier today, seeing a tick up in price for this Artificer because he's built in a few of these Mishra decks, right? Ah, yes, the Mishra guy. This up 99% because of $15 to the popularity of the Artifacts Brothers War. So Brody's there first with some amazing news this morning. That's pretty cool. Arkham Dagson, bringing it to you folks today. Arkham Dagson, it's definitely an interesting card. It's let's take a look at it. Let's read it. Arkham, target artifact creature's controller sacks it. That player may search for a non creature artifact and put it into play and shuffle. Artifice sundered the world. It shall not again wreak such sorrow. I like this card. This 2/2 Artificer, he's up a bunch, eh? Like, and then this card, let's go for it. Mental Note. Let's take a note of this card. Mental note, if you have this, see, this is like, this is when Brody's like going through the collection and wondering, like, do you have some of these older cards, like from Cold Snap? Like, if you, unless you want to play it, if you have multiple copies, if you got a foil copy, maybe that's a card that you want to pick up or trade in on something else. Mental note, one blue from Judgment. This card's up to $3.50. Put the top two cards of your library into your graveyard. Draw a card. Some minds are more open than others. Mental note. Let's have a little sip of coffee here for this Friday. Those of you still joining us, thank you very much for tuning back in. Had a little trouble with the stream there. Must have been a good one. Last but not least, we got a comment from Judgment that's never been reprinted since, meaning this card is already 20 years old. Last September, was a banned and restricted announcement in paper for cards that give the initiative here were banned since dominated the format. These cards were banned to share of Dimir Terror and Coldoltha Red increased, which are able to apply early pressure and get advantage while the opponent is struggling to deal with early threats. Okay, now these decks are becoming popular. We see more people wanting to play these decks and try their hands on the cards. Since the printing of Tolarian Terror, this deck could be really start going. It uses Mental Note along with the Thought Scour and Consider to fill your graveyard and get these big threats out. Mental Notes printed so long ago without any reprints, you can imagine it by far one of the most scarier cards found in the deck. Yeah, mill 2 draw card. That seems pretty good. At instant speed, you can set up the top of your deck. You can fill your bin with choices. I mean, surveilling and scrying never looked so good. Make a mental note of this card. A deck list for everybody here. Gurmag, Angler, Augur of Bolus, Terrors, Tolarian Terror, and a bunch of other beaters on this deck list. And the cheap pickups now, we're looking at Unmask. All right. This is a card that was reprinted from Mercadian Mask. There was so much reprint equity in this card. And, like, to remove a black spell from your hand instead of paying its mana cost to let you look at a pickup on this for $5. Man, did they reprint a lot of stuff. Didn't see that coming. Oath Warriors Oath for $5. This one's slowly moving down. Another take an extra turn card from red. Like, can you say second chance, last chance, whatever chance? Two, at the beginning of that end's turn, you lose the game. So it's another second chance card of another name. So the Lithoform engine down $7. Man, they just can't print another 2 mana Time Warp for red that loses you the game. Holy smokes. These are all cheap cards. Some are pseudo reprints. And the Lithoform engine, I really liked Sporking Fells. I like the Fork spells with the Lithoform engine. You can copy permanents, copy instants, and copy activated abilities as they're happening. Thanks, Arjun, legacy player over 10 years, the founder of Mad MTG Stocks, for bringing us another movers and shakers list and an article for us today. November 25th, 2022, morning talks and morning stocks with Brody and MTG. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Anybody who was over at the channel, it's Yabba Dabba Do time. It's Friday. We got one more work day to go before the weekend. Thanks for all you folks for tuning in. Can run down a couple more cards for you folks, just one or two. Before we head out off into the wild blue yonder. Safe adventures out there for all you folks traveling this morning. And don't forget to bring a friend to Magic. And if you want to bring a friend to Magic, you can also bring a friend to Brody's. Bring a friend to Brody's. Tell them to stop by the live stream. You can always leave us a comment in the comment section below. Ragavan, this card, let's do Chalice of the Void, Ragavan, Chalice, Coldoltha. We got choices, choices, choices. Have a good weekend, Robert Bryan. And what type of bear is the most condescending? A panda. Let's do one more card before we head out for the day. That's going to be Ragavan Blood. Let's do this one. It seems pretty interesting. This card's up 2 points. Bloodline Keeper from Innistrad. Dual Brain. Thanks for joining us. We're just going to hit more one more card here before we head on into our Friday. Checking out the movers and the shakers list here. Seasoned Dungeoneer, White Plume Adventurer, just a quick recap for everybody, and the Crypto Thrall, all an Arkham Dagson. I like this card, I really do. Out of all the cards on the movers and the shakers list, this one's by far my favorite. the Arkham Dagson. Such a cool card, legendary human artificer. We'll leave you on this note. Wound Reflection. I love the Reflection cycle and the Brothers Sister set. Cosmic Seeds having to come on over and say, hey. So we're going to run down one more card for you folks joining us this Friday before we head out the door. This card from Innistrad, the 3/3 Vampire. For 2 black and 2, tap it. It's a flyer. Yes, vampires do fly. It's flippy card. Look at the art on this Bloodline Keeper. Pretty cool. What do we get for a whopping $16.85? This is kind of expensive, right? We're doing modern card. Line Keeper, activate this ability only if you control 5 or more vampires. Okay. So it's like it's a Lord of, is it a Lord? Lord of Lineage, creature type vampire. And it's also, hmm, different card. Bloodline Keeper. Okay, it's a rare. Let's transform it. See what we get on the other side if we flip this 3/3. If we get 5 vampires and we flip this thing, what do we get? Okay, you can do it anytime. So you can do it anytime as long as you have 5, right? Or more vampires. You get a 5/5 with flying. Other vampires you control. Okay, this is the other part. Lord of Lineage. You get this. You get the vampires you control get +2/+2. Tap, put a 2/2 vampire creature with token with flying on the onto the battlefield. So like those 2/2s you just made are now 4/4s. So they're like pretty much Sengers. Pretty cool. He taps to make vampires. This card is pretty good in a vampire build, I would say. Maybe often overlooked from Innistrad. Who we're playing it with? Commander all over the place. So this is a vampire deck. Oh, yes. This card slots very well in the Edgar Markov deck. And I want to see if we're playing copies of the Vampire Nocturnus. That card's got to be in there. I hope it really is. Let's check it out. Nocturnus. No, yes, yes. Vampire Nocturnus, yes. So play with the top card of your library revealed. As long as the top card of your library is black, Vampire Nocturnus gives and other vampires you control get 2/1 and have. I like it. Let's do it. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Oh man, I'm definitely not in the algorithm. You're in the algorithm, Brain. Brain, thanks for joining us. It's kind of a bummer. Few of the people got kicked out, and we must have been doing it right. So, holy smokes, we got 10 folks in you here. Oh, 10 of you folks, amazing fans of Magic the Gathering, who love the game as much as I do. Have a smooth week, you folks. I wish you to bring a friend to Magic. It's Friday.